And now it's time for your Fresh Bait Friday weekly fish report.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Fresh Bait Friday weekly fish report. This week's been a little bit mixed. I've caught some nice fish and I've caught quite a few of them, but the bites kind of slowed down as the week went on. It's been pretty chilly, and if you've been following me on Twitter or Instagram, you've definitely seen all the pics from the big huge jacks, almost 30 inches, to the common snook. So I've been slaying them right and left. I've been putting in the time. I fish real early, and then late in the evening I try to catch the incoming or outgoing tide. I started going down to Casperson though, right before the weather got bad, like a day or two before, and I hit a school of cobia, and I didn't even know what was going on until one came out of the water and broke my line. So they were following a pack of rays, which I didn't know at the time is a common thing because they get all the sand fleas and crabs up off the bottom. Which are also going to draw a lot of pompano as well. So I learned that about the cobia and the pompano. And obviously pompano have been a big thing right now, and this year I heard is one of the best years in a long time. So as the week rounded out, it kind of slowed down for old Dangler. The weather got worse. What am I going to do? I hit a few bridges in the morning and in the late afternoon, but I've had a tough time. But I still brought in quite a few fish. So with the bad weather week, Casperson going crazy with the weather, it definitely was a slower week than normal. But things are clearing up and the water's gonna clear up too, and hopefully we'll slay a few pompano out there. Thanks for watching the Fresh Bait Friday weekly fish report. Get out there and slam, and remember, peace, love, and all them fish. Hey everybody, and welcome to Lures, Lines, and Leaders. On today's show, we're going to be talking about pompano and snook. As you know, last week I caught a slot-sized snook, and it's an awesome fight and a super tasty fish. But I wanted to take you to talk to an exceptional captain who helped me when I first started saltwater fishing up in Sarasota. His name is Captain Keith, and he works at Economy Tackle, and I stopped by to see if he could give us a few tips on some lures to try out to slay a few snook. Hey everybody, Dangler here. I'm over at Economy Tackle with Captain Keith, and this is one of the first places I got started angling, and they definitely steered me in the right direction, from bait, line, and even my first rod and reel that actually pulled in slot snook, redfish, and then the grouper you've seen on my show. So without further ado, we're going to talk to Captain Keith. He's going to give us some helpful tips about snook, a few different lures, and maybe a few techniques that'll help you slay them out there. So let's talk to Captain Keith and see what's going on.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Keith.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Snook are in season. One of my favorite ways to catch snook is on topwater. They're a lot of fun. They're explosive. One of the best topwater plugs to use, I think, is just a Head and Zero Spook. The chrome color is probably by far our best seller. I said topwater for snook is great. Even sea trout and redfish will also eat these. Some other ways to catch them, we throw a lot of jigs to them. By jigs, it's just a basic jig head. Get a couple packs of these in 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, 1/16 ounce, and then you can mix and match your plastics. One of my favorites is the Mirror Little John. In this particular color, it's golden brim. These work great up in the creeks and canals where the water's kind of dark and stained. They work great around docks. Primarily a daytime bait. A great way to catch snook, just to go out and have a lot of fun with them, is to fish them at night under the lights, under lighted docks and bridges and that sort of thing.
Okay.
The key here is anything small and white. So this is a nice small white little Yozuri diving plug.
Really?
A lot of fun at night. You can go out and catch a pile of fish that way.
What?
Most of the fish are smaller at night.
Okay.
But again, just to have fun, get the lines tight, that's the way to go.
Well, let me ask you, since we're talking about this Yozuri, I'm a huge Yozuri fan, one of
Yeah.
my favorite lures. I've never used a small one, and I'm kind of curious. You're showing me a white one, and people are kind of, I'm new up and coming angler, so I'm learning from you. So I was told light, dark. So when I'm using this, is that because it's at night?
At night, and primarily what they're feeding on are very small, either glass minnows or shrimp.
Okay.
So the smaller bait you can get, the better. I even have a couple of flies that we use for them at night.
Oh, wow.
So if you're a fly fisherman, again,
Something
small,
this small?
small
Wait,
and
let me
white.
show them this. Check that out.
Yeah.
That's an awesome little lure right there. So that'll pull in a snook, really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No
At
way.
night. Yep. It's one of the best ways to catch them is on fly at night.
And I know that, as the seasons are changing and they're going to be along the beaches, do these lures work at the beach as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Same stuff. Now again, these that color jig probably not. I want to get something more of a natural color, a white, maybe a white color, something like that.
Okay.
But absolutely, yeah, you can throw jigs.
So in the bays, I've been hitting Donna's Bay, Roberts Bay, and something similar to this in color
Absolutely.
has done really well for
Yep.
me. But I want to, this week I'm going to be heading out to the beach. Is there another brand or another lure I could try out over
Absolutely.
on the beach?
Yeah, on the beach side, the mirror lures. These are made by Mirror Lures, called the Mirrodine. This is a suspending twitch bait, a 17 MR. But again, small is the key.
Okay.
You don't want to throw a great big plug to them. You want to try and keep it
Really?
small. You'll catch more fish on small baits.
And that's kind of when you're first getting into it. I thought the opposite. Like I got a huge pole, the first pole I got, and I was
Right.
getting these huge lures.
Right.
And I noticed as I did downsize, it did help me hook up a lot more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Downsize.
So those are
you
good
catch
for the
more.
beach, and I can run those. That's a twitch bait.
Yep, that's a suspending twitch bait.
Okay.
Yep. Now there's also plenty of mackerel, Spanish mackerel out there.
Okay.
They are a blast. I mean, just to get the lines tight, they swim in schools.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
a lot of fun.
And they're coming in right now as that water clears
They're-
up and get warm. Is that right?
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
they're in right now. Yeah, they'll be around for a while longer.
Okay.
Until, yeah.
Are they moving up north or?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Now, mackerel. The key to mackerel is anything shiny and moving fast.
Okay.
That's the key. So we throw a lot of spoons to them. This is a Castmaster. It's one of my favorites. The nice thing about this, for its size, it's very heavy. You can cast it a long way.
Okay.
Now, for mackerel, what we do with these, cast them out, let it sink for
Okay.
a couple seconds, put your rod tip down, and reel as fast as you can. You don't have to jig it, work it, nothing. Just reel.
Okay. Let's do it one more time. Now do that again. You cast it out.
Cast it out, let it sink for a couple seconds. Lower your rod tip right down on top of the water.
Okay.
And just reel as fast as you can.
Really?
That's it.
And mackerel
Mackerel, eat 'em
can't
up.
stand it.
Can't stand it. Anything shiny and moving fast.
And is this, this weight right here, is this the right size for like at the jetty and
Absolutely.
and surfing off,
Absolutely.
and also fishing off the beach?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Another way of catching them are on gotcha plugs. It's
Okay.
again, the common theme here is they're shiny.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've tried out gotchas, and it's one of my favorite lures on the show. One thing, I'm learning different things about the gotcha too. I've jigged them and I've caught slot snook, but when I'm running them, sometimes I'm wondering if I'm doing it right. With these, when I've been running them, what I do is I run it for a while, let it stop and drop down, go again. Should I just keep it going?
I would just keep it going. Keep it moving.
No need
Yep.
for me to stop.
No, don't need to stop
A medium
it.
retrieve, a slow retrieve. What do you?
Again, if it's mackerel, fast retrieve. If you're snook fishing,
So
you may
they'll
have
chase
to.
them.
They'll chase.
I'm worried about the fish going after it. I
Right.
shouldn't worry about that.
I wouldn't. No. If they want it, they'll come
If
after
we're
it.
fishing for mac on a gotcha, they're going to chase
They're
it
gonna
down.
they're gonna chase it. And
Okay.
just to be safe, use a little piece of wire in front of all your mackerel stuff. Just it doesn't need to be much, 6-8 inches, just enough to guard from their teeth.
Okay, so
Okay.
I could tie this on directly to the lure.
Yep.
And then do I do like a double uni knot to this, to my leader or to my line?
Not with this. This is single strand wire. There is tieable wire that you can tie uni knots with. This is
Okay.
single strand, so you'd need to tie what's called a haywire twist.
Okay, so with this, you're doing a haywire twist, and how long?
Like 8 inches, 6-8 inches that's
and
all you
directly
need.
to a swivel onto your braid, and you're good to go.
Good to go.
Same
Yep.
retrieve, nice
Same
and
retrieve.
fast, and
Yep.
running through there. What about the rod and reel? What kind of setup? I know, I've talked about the Pin Fierce is what I've been using, and it's held all the slot snook. I've even
Right.
actually used something less than that, and was pretty successful. What kind of line would, if you're first getting started on the braid, what pound do you need on that? And then what kind of leader are you going to do if you're going for like the snook?
Okay. That's a good question.
Okay.
For inshore fishing, for the most part, we use like 15-pound braid. That's
Okay.
really all you need. You can even get away with 10.
Really?
It's plenty strong enough, and it'll cast plenty far.
And I just caught a slot snook on, I think it was 10 pound,
10
and I was
pound.
surprised. I was nervous. I thought the rod was too light. I thought
Right.
the line was too
Nope.
light.
Nope.
But I was surprised pulling in that slot that it held. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
10 pound will do
Yeah,
it.
10 pound will be just fine. 15 pounds good. If you're fishing structure like docks, you may want to go up to 20 pound.
Okay.
Just to get a
For the
little more.
rubbing
Right.
on those rocks
Right.
and jetties.
Now
Okay.
for your leader, a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader seems to hold them just fine.
Okay, so a 20 pound leader, fluoro or mono,
Or
whatever
mono,
your
right.
preference is,
Right.
and 10 pound to 20 pound braid in that range?
Yep.
Okay, and then the
Absolutely.
rod and reel setup. You don't need a huge rod and reel.
No,
The
a 7
fierce.
Yeah, it's fine. A 7-foot medium action rod.
Medium
with
action?
It's just a small to medium sized reel. That's all you need.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, wow, we couldn't ask for anything else. It's Snook season. Captain Keith was nice enough to take the time over here at Economy Tackle to show us what we need, and hopefully this is helpful for you guys, and get out there and slam. I'm going to try a couple of these lures that he suggested, and I'll give you the reel rating next week. Thanks for watching Fresh Bait Friday, and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for your time, Keith.
Thank you.
Hey, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. Now that's a great rundown on some lures. So if you guys are looking to try out some new lures and catch some snook, there you go. Captain Keith, thank you so much for your time and the helpful tips. And if you're looking for a great deal on lures, lines, or leaders, definitely check out Economy Tackle. They're not only helpful, they're well stocked, and they have a great line of kayaks and scuba gear. So definitely go to Economy Tackle and tell them Dangler sent you. Okay, now let me update you real quick on the 20-pound fluorocarbon line. It's been amazing. So the guys at Bass Pro that steered me to that definitely turned me on to a keeper. That's going to be a staple in my tackle box for sure. That line has held up every time, and it was just as good as the mono I was using, but I actually have to tell you, I think I'm catching more fish using the fluorocarbon line. I know there's always a battle between that, but this line has definitely held up, and I am impressed. So what it boils down to, for under $20, you're getting 175 yards of fluoro leader material. That's a great price. So definitely going to be a staple in my tackle box, and 2 reels up. Okay, now for the chasm braid. It's not the most impressive line that I've used, but you got to keep in mind it's half the price of Power Pro and Diamond Cut. So with that said, it is wind knot susceptible and it is a very thin line. And obviously it's pretty hard to see in the dark. So for the price and its strength, I got to give it 1.5 reels. So I thought it was a pretty cool fact to learn about cobia following packs of rays, but I thought it was a little bit more interesting fishing from the bank, finding that the pompano were following them. Because obviously stirring that up makes sense for the actual crabs and the sand fleas to pop up off the bottom. And since right now is a great time to catch pompano, and this last year's been one of the best years in some time, I thought it'd be a good idea to go to the local bait shop where I pick up the lures for the pompano. So I went over to Cook's Sportland to hopefully get some good tips and info on the lures I've been using in the pompano in the area. So let's take a look. Hey everybody, Dangler here from Fresh Bait Friday, and I stopped by Cook's Sportland, and Malcolm was nice enough to take the time to maybe share a few tips and talk about a few lures. With the pompano being so prevalent this year, definitely want to talk to who knows what's going on. So without further ado, let's talk to Malcolm real quick. Hey Malcolm, thanks for taking the time.
Yep.
All right. So what, out here, the pompano lately have really been hitting. What's a good lure to try out if you're first getting started? What should we be looking at here?
Captain Joe's.
The Captain Joe's?
Just
Okay.
right here, and the best one to use would be a 1/2 ounce.
Okay.
You need it on the bottom to do your retrieve.
Okay, so when you're casting those out, you let it hit the bottom, and then do you start like a 1 retrieve and a reel, or how does that work? What's the best way to do it if you're first getting started?
Depends. Well, what you want to do is you want to jerk it along the bottom.
Okay.
It stirs the bottom up,
Okay.
so the fish they actually hear it. I believe they think it's a crab or something going to the sand.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
didn't know that.
These come rigged, and you can get them unrigged too, of a lot of colors. There's different colors in them and stuff that you can tie your own together.
Okay.
There's different ways to do it.
Okay.
You can do like on some like Silly Willies, some other ones do a loop in it. Captain Joe's, they put it with a split ring in it. Less likely to get bit off by mackerels.
Okay.
Which is no one.
And I did when I first got started out there, was losing quite a few to the max, and then actually you suggested to try the rings out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I tried those rings, and ever since then it's worked really well. The feathers actually come off before the ring does, so they work really well. So what kind are these flies? What are these actually called?
These are teasers.
They're called teaser hooks.
Well, when they're rigged up, it's like a fly,
Okay.
but it's just different colors, and we use the number 4 hook on them
All right.
because it found out being the best size. 6 is too small, 2s are too big.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the pompano's not that big of a mouth. It's wide, but it's not that large up.
Well, and I noticed when they hit, sometimes they get out of there. Is that because this is hooked in, or is it the other hook? Why does that happen a lot?
Well, coming off,
Yeah, I noticed that.
it
Like
could
what?
be the angle that the hook's in.
Okay.
Because if it's not hook's not pulled up all the way, it won't hook. It won't. If it's, it'll just comes out. I mean,
Okay.
I've had with treble hooks on bombers. Snook
Yeah.
take it, throw it back at me. How do they with 3 sets of hooks on them?
Well, I noticed, when I'm down in Casperson, it's a little bit easier for me when I'm on the beach or the rocks to pull them in. But I noticed when I was saying they were coming off, like at the jetty, a lot of the guys I see losing pompano right there at their feet on these jigs. And maybe it's the tension
They
or.
might not set it, or they worked it too hard and tore them out.
Okay. That could be a problem,
Yeah.
right? Tearing them out?
Oh yes, you can.
Because I
with
noticed their
braid.
mouth is real small.
With braid, you can. Braid,
Okay.
there's no stretch to it.
Okay.
The rod's got to do that.
All
like
right.
A spring.
So jigging wise, do you have a certain retrieve that works pretty good?
No, you just got to vary it.
Okay.
See what they're hitting.
Just keep it going.
Right. Right.
Because when I first started jigging it, I think I might have been doing it wrong. I'd let it hit the bottom and maybe sit there a little too long. And
Well, no.
does it need to be constant?
You got to be moving it.
Okay.
I mean, you can let it sit there, scratch your head, and just start in again.
Okay. But it
But-
does need to be moving at all times,
Right.
pretty much, to get them attracted to it.
Right.
And jerk quick movements, is that good for pompano? Do they like that?
Well, you want to stir the bottom. You want to work the bottom.
Okay, they're going after sand fleas, aren't they?
Sand fleas, crabs, anything like that.
Okay.
We've even caught a few on mirror lures,
Really?
and they're like a minnow.
Okay.
So I guess they will hit anything at times,
Well, here's sometimes they hit so hard they actually hook themselves.
Well, it's
pompano.
how when they grab it and how they turn,
Okay.
just like a snook, a redfish, or anything.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, they're trying to get away.
Yeah. Really?
They'll get another mouthful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me on these colors. There's so many different colors. I noticed there's some yellows, pinks. I've been using a lot of pink, and I was kind of getting hooked on the pink and white mix there. Does it really matter the color, or is there something more attractive?
Well, the original colors that was in jigs that we used was yellows, pinks.
Okay.
And when chartreuse come around, it was chartreuse.
All right.
We mixed it with different colors of jigs, heads and all.
Okay. So
Yeah.
necessarily like the pink and white anchor hooks I'm using, those might work well with the chartreuse.
Oh yeah, but we do in pink, like we have a nylon,
Okay.
your crystal flash in it, and we also do a deer hair, which is actually floats a little more.
Does it really?
Yeah, so it stays up instead of sinking with the jig.
Okay.
And the two colors in that is white and pink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know, a lot of times, people, word of mouth is kind of how you learn the different lures, especially out here on the jetties and the beaches and the piers. On the difference here on the glow in the dark, me personally, I was having really good luck with the glow in the dark, and I do fish, early in the morning. Is the glow in the dark more the attraction through the water, or is it truly because it glows in the dark?
Eye catching.
That's it. It doesn't have
Yes.
to do with the dark
No,
necessarily.
it's like prism on the mirror lures. They are doesn't look like one bait, looks like a school bait,
Okay.
and that catches the eye. The glow does,
Oh, okay.
and you can use it in different color waters, and it still shows up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Malcolm, learning the different lures and where they come from and a lot of the history is something we're learning on the show too. One big thing that kind of got me confused, a lot of people refer to all of these as Silly Willy, and I've done that on the show by mistake and called Captain Joe's rigs here. I've actually called those Silly Willies. Is Silly Willy a separate name brand? Is Captain Joe's prevalent here? What's the difference between Captain Joe and Silly Willy?
Well, it's the makers.
Okay.
Silly Willy was one of the Pompano jigs that was out.
Okay, is that one of the original ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Next to Doc's was the first one,
Okay.
and it was out of Tampa, Clearwater.
Okay. And these are local anglers, captains that came up with these?
Well, I don't know if they're captains. I know they're anglers.
Okay.
So
Okay.
some of them, they come up with it, and they,
Yeah.
Market
Their product, but it's definitely a strong product. We both know that.
First one was everything was a yellow. That's
Okay.
The first one they ever made was all yellow.
Really? And that would be the one I probably wouldn't choose just because of word of mouth.
Well, some called it bananas,
Really? And that'll hit them too, won't it?
but when the teaser come out, it really made it better.
Really? So it was actually just the original jig and then the fly rigs got added to
Somebody come
them?
out with the teasers, yeah.
Really? Okay. So I thought it was kind of a 1-2 thing. It's always been that way.
Nope.
Really? So how long has the fly's been added to it? Past couple years or?
Yeah, probably 5 years,
Okay.
maybe longer, but I know it's 5 at least.
Well, I know the Macs love those wobbly lures
Oh.
by themselves. The Macs just tear them up.
Yes.
You can throw one of those out without anything, and they'll definitely attack them.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we got the deer hair. Now, what kind of materials made out of these? Do you guys make these yourself?
No, we have a fly tire that does it,
Okay.
and it's all crystal flash.
Oh,
is what we do.
do you have the material for that here?
Yes.
So
Oh,
you
yes.
can make the same exact things yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
We got customers that do.
Really?
Some do their own concoctions.
Okay. Yeah, I started to come up with my own, but I haven't gotten as far as making my own flies. But it's something I'd like to, definitely try out. So you have all the stuff we need to make these, huh?
Yes, yes, we do.
Well, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to try out a few different colors I haven't tried before on these Captain Joes, and see if we can slay some pompano as the water's clearing up here in the next couple days. Malcolm, thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
All righty. Now that's a great rundown on pompano lures. From your weights, your colors, you even got a little history in there. So Malcolm, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. And if you guys are looking for a great deal on sporting goods or fishing gear, definitely check out Cook Sportland. I take my little greenies over there and they love it because they treat us right. And they even have a friendly dog by the name of Rusty. Tell him Izzy says hi. So thanks for tuning in to Lures, Lines, and Leaders, and have a wonderful weekend. Fresh Bait Friday, Fresh Bait Friday, Fresh Bait Friday, Fresh Bait Friday. Doing the Snook dance, doing the Snook dance, dancing, 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 dancing. Doing the Snook dance, doing the Snook dance. Ooh, doing the Snook, doing the Snook, doing the Snook dance, dancing, dancing. Dancing, dancing.
When is it over?
Doing the Snook dance. Doing the Snook dance.
Okay.
Dancing, dancing, dancing,
You're
dancing.
falling all over the place.
Doing the Snook dance. Doing the Snook